The email arrived at 4:47 p.m. on a Thursday in September. Subject: Organizational restructuring, your position. I stared at the subject line for a full 30 seconds before opening it. In corporate America, emails with subjects like that only ever mean one thing. And it's never good. My name is Dr. Sophia Chen. I'm 38 years old, and until that Thursday afternoon, I was the lead AI systems engineer at Meridian Financial Technologies, a mid-sized fintech company based in Boston that specialized in automated trading systems and financial risk analysis. I had a PhD in computer science from MIT, specializing in machine learning and neural networks. I'd been with Meridian for 7 years. I'd built their entire AI infrastructure from the ground up. I opened the email. Dear Sophia, as part of our ongoing efforts to optimize operational efficiency and position Meridian for future growth, we are implementing organizational changes across several departments. After careful consideration, we have determined that your position as lead AI systems engineer will be eliminated effective October 1st, 2 weeks from today. This decision reflects our strategic shift toward more automated, AI-driven processes that will reduce our dependency on specialized technical roles. You will receive 2 weeks severance pay in addition to your final paycheck, as well as payment for any unused PTO. Your benefits will continue through the end of October. Please coordinate with HR regarding the return of company equipment and the offboarding process. We appreciate your contributions to Meridian and wish you success in your future endeavors. Sincerely, Ethan Whitmore, Chief Executive Officer, Meridian Financial Technologies. I read it 3 times. Then I read it again. They were eliminating my position, the lead AI systems engineer position, at a company whose entire competitive advantage was built on AI systems. AI systems that I had designed, built, trained, validated, and maintained for 7 years. And they were doing it to implement more automated, AI-driven processes that will reduce our dependency on specialized technical roles. They were replacing me with AI, the AI that I had built. I started laughing. Not happy laughter. The kind of slightly hysterical laughter that happens when something is so absurd, so monumentally stupid, that your brain can't process it any other way. My office door opened. Keisha Williams, one of the senior data scientists, stuck her head in. She took one look at my face and came inside, closing the door behind her. You got the email, she said. It wasn't a question. You too. She nodded. 15 minutes ago. They're eliminating my position too. And Marcus's. And Jennifer's. And basically everyone in the AI and data science division except for the junior analysts. They're firing the entire AI team, I said slowly. At an AI company. Not firing. Eliminating positions due to strategic shifts toward automation, Keisha said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Apparently, Ethan has decided that we don't need AI engineers anymore because the AI can manage itself. Ethan Whitmore, age 31, son of Richard Whitmore, who had founded Meridian Financial Technologies 15 years ago and served as CEO until his retirement 6 months ago. Ethan had an MBA from Harvard, 3 years of experience in strategic consulting at McKinsey, and absolutely zero technical background. He'd been appointed CEO in March when his father retired. He'd spent the past 6 months talking about operational efficiency, cost optimization, and leveraging AI to reduce headcount. And now, apparently, he decided to fire the people who built and maintained the AI systems that the entire company depended on. This is insane, I said. The AI systems don't run themselves. They need constant monitoring, validation, retraining, debugging. The models drift over time. The data pipelines break. The edge cases emerge. You can't just fire everyone who understands how the systems work and expect them to keep functioning. I know that. You know that. Everyone with a technical background knows that, Keisha said. But Ethan doesn't have a technical background. He has an MBA and a trust fund. He thinks AI is magic. He thinks you just turn it on and it works forever. He's going to destroy the company, I said. Probably, Keisha agreed. But that's not our problem anymore. We've got 2 weeks to find new jobs. I went home that night in a daze. I sat in my apartment in Cambridge, staring at my laptop, trying to process what had just happened. I'd spent 7 years building Meridian's AI infrastructure. 7 years of late nights, complex problems, elegant solutions. I'd designed the neural networks that powered their trading algorithms. I'd built the validation layers that prevented catastrophic errors. I'd created the monitoring systems that detected anomalies before they became disasters. I'd trained the models, tuned the hyperparameters, optimized the performance. And now I was being eliminated because Ethan Whitmore thought the AI could replace me. The AI that I had built. The AI that I understood better than anyone else in the world. The AI that absolutely, definitely, could not function without human oversight. I opened my laptop and logged into Meridian systems. I still had access. My termination wasn't effective for 2 weeks. I pulled up the monitoring dashboards for the core AI systems. Everything looked normal. Green lights across the board. The trading algorithms were running smoothly. The risk analysis models were performing within expected parameters. The data pipelines were flowing cleanly. But I knew something that Ethan didn't know. Something that no one except me and a few senior engineers knew. The AI systems at Meridian weren't fully autonomous. They couldn't be. Financial systems are too complex, too unpredictable, too high stakes to run without human oversight. So I'd built in multiple layers of validation, verification, and human-in-the-loop checkpoints. The AI made recommendations, but humans reviewed them. The AI identified patterns, but humans validated them. The AI processed data, but humans monitored the quality. And most importantly, I'd built in safeguards. Automatic shutoffs that triggered if the AI detected anomalies beyond certain thresholds. Validation layers that required human approval for high-risk decisions. Monitoring systems that alerted engineers when something looked wrong. These safeguards were invisible to end users. They ran in the background, quietly preventing disasters. But they required constant maintenance. They needed to be updated as the models evolved. They needed to be recalibrated as the data changed. They needed to be monitored by people who understood how they worked. People like me. I pulled up the system architecture documentation, hundreds of pages of technical specifications, data flow diagrams, model architectures, validation protocols. I'd written most of it myself over the past 7 years. It was comprehensive, detailed, and highly technical. You need a PhD in computer science and years of experience in machine learning to fully understand it. Ethan Whitmore had an MBA and 3 years of consulting experience. I started to get a very bad feeling about what was going to happen after October 1st. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched Ethan prepare for the transition to fully automated AI operations. He hired a consulting firm, probably his old colleagues from McKinsey, to optimize the AI infrastructure. He held meetings with the remaining junior analysts, explaining how they'd be empowered to leverage AI tools without needing expensive specialized engineers. He sent company-wide emails about embracing the future of autonomous AI. He also ignored every attempt by me and the other senior engineers to explain why this was a catastrophically bad idea. Ethan, the AI systems need constant monitoring, I said in one of our final meetings. The models drift over time. The data quality degrades. Edge cases emerge that the training data didn't cover. You need experienced engineers to catch these issues before they become problems. That's exactly the kind of thinking we're moving away from, Ethan said, smiling like he was explaining something to a child. You're too close to the technology. You're overcomplicating it. Modern AI systems are designed to be self-maintaining. They learn, they adapt, they optimize themselves. That's the whole point of AI. That's not how it works, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. AI systems don't magically maintain themselves. They need. Sophia, I appreciate your concern, but I've consulted with multiple AI experts, and they've assured me that our systems are mature enough to operate autonomously. We're not eliminating AI, we're eliminating unnecessary overhead. We're trusting the technology to do what it was designed to do. Who are these AI experts? I asked. The consulting team from Vanguard Strategic Solutions. They specialize in AI optimization and operational efficiency. Are any of them machine learning engineers? Do any of them have technical backgrounds in AI systems? They're strategic consultants with expertise in AI implementation and business optimization. So no, none of them are engineers. None of them have actually built AI systems. Ethan's smile tightened. Sophia, I understand you're upset about the organizational changes, but this decision has been made. I need you to focus on documenting your work so we can ensure a smooth transition. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab him by his expensive suit and shake him until he understood that he was about to drive the company off a cliff. But I didn't. I just nodded and walked out of his office. I spent my final 2 weeks documenting everything. Every system, every model, every validation layer, every safeguard, every edge case, every quirk of the infrastructure. I created comprehensive handoff documents. I recorded video tutorials. I wrote detailed README files. I did everything I could to make sure that whoever came after me, if anyone came after me, would have the information they needed. I also did something else. Something I'm not entirely proud of, but something I knew I needed to do. I documented Ethan's incompetence. Every meeting where he ignored technical warnings. Every email where he dismissed concerns from experienced engineers. Every decision he made based on advice from non-technical consultants instead of the people who actually built and maintained the systems. I saved everything. Screenshots, email threads, meeting recordings, Slack messages. I created a private folder on my personal cloud storage and backed up every piece of evidence that showed Ethan had been repeatedly warned about the risks of firing the AI team. I didn't know if I'd ever need it, but I had a feeling I might. My last day was September 30th. I handed over my laptop, my access badges, my company phone. I had a brief exit interview with HR where they asked me perfunctory questions about my experience at Meridian and wished me well in my future endeavors. I walked out of the office at 5 p.m., carrying a box with my personal belongings, a coffee mug, a few books, a plant that had somehow survived 7 years on my desk. Keisha, Marcus, Jennifer, and the rest of the AI team had all left over the past 2 weeks. We'd had a goodbye dinner the night before, a somber affair where we'd shared war stories, exchanged contact information, and speculated about how long it would take for everything to fall apart. I give it 2 weeks, Marcus had said. 2 weeks before something breaks and they realize they have no idea how to fix it. I'm betting on 1 week, Jennifer said. The models need retraining every Monday. If no one does that, the performance will degrade fast. 3 days, Keisha said. That's how long before the data pipeline throws an error that requires manual intervention. If no one catches it, the whole system will start processing garbage data. What about you, Sophia? Marcus asked. What's your bet? I thought about the validation layers I'd built. The safeguards that prevented catastrophic errors. The monitoring systems that required human oversight. The complexity that Ethan didn't understand and the consultants couldn't see. Day 1, I said. Something will go wrong on day 1. They just won't realize it until it's too late. October 1st was a Saturday. I spent the day at home, trying not to think about Meridian. I updated my LinkedIn profile. I reached out to recruiters. I browsed job postings. I tried to convince myself that getting fired was actually an opportunity, a chance to find a better company, a better role, a better boss who actually understood technology. But I couldn't stop thinking about the AI systems I'd built. The systems that were now running without any oversight from people who understood them. The systems that Ethan thought were self-maintaining, but were actually held together by layers of validation and safeguards that required constant human monitoring. I kept checking my phone, half expecting a panicked call from Meridian. But nothing came. Saturday passed quietly. Sunday passed quietly. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the systems were more robust than I thought. Maybe the junior analysts could handle the basic monitoring. Maybe Ethan's consultants actually knew what they were doing. Monday morning, October 3rd, I woke up to 47 missed calls and 89 text messages. My phone had been on silent. I'd slept through all of it. I grabbed my phone, my heart pounding, and started scrolling through the messages. Ethan Whitmore, 6:47 a.m. Sophia, we need you to call us immediately. Urgent. Ethan Whitmore, 7:15 a.m. Sophia, please respond. We have a critical situation. Ethan Whitmore, 7:52 a.m. This is an emergency. Call me now. HR Director, 8:03 a.m. Sophia, please contact Ethan Whitmore as soon as possible. Time-sensitive matter. Keisha Williams, 8:34 a.m. OMG, Sophia, are you seeing this? Check the news. Meridian is in full meltdown. I opened my laptop and searched for Meridian Financial Technologies. The top result was a breaking news article from the Wall Street Journal, published 45 minutes ago. Meridian Financial Technologies halts trading after AI system malfunction causes $2 million loss. I clicked the article. Meridian Financial Technologies, a Boston-based fintech company specializing in automated trading systems, has suspended all trading operations following a catastrophic malfunction in its AI-driven trading algorithms. According to sources familiar with the situation, the company's AI systems began making erratic trading decisions early Monday morning, resulting in losses estimated at over $2 million before the systems were manually shut down. The malfunction also reportedly caused data corruption affecting multiple client accounts. The incident comes just days after Meridian announced a major restructuring that eliminated its entire AI engineering team, including lead AI systems engineer Dr. Sophia Chen, who had built the company's AI infrastructure over the past 7 years. This is exactly what we warned them about, said a former Meridian engineer who spoke on condition of anonymity. You can't fire everyone who understands how the AI works and expect it to keep functioning. These systems need constant oversight. Meridian CEO Ethan Whitmore could not be reached for comment. The company's stock price has fallen 23% in pre-market trading. I sat back, staring at the screen. Day 1. I'd predicted day 1 and I'd been right. My phone started ringing again. Ethan Whitmore. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately. I let it go to voicemail again. It rang a third time. I answered. Sophia, thank God, Ethan said. His voice was panicked, breathless. We need you to come in immediately. We have a critical situation and we need your expertise too. You fired me, I said calmly. I know, but this is an emergency. The AI systems are malfunctioning and we need someone who understands the architecture too. You fired me because you said the AI could replace me. You said the systems were self-maintaining. You said you didn't need expensive specialized engineers. Sophia, please. We'll pay you. We'll pay you whatever you want. Just please come in and help us fix this. What happened? I asked. The trading algorithms started making erratic decisions this morning. They executed a series of high-risk trades that lost over $2 million before we could shut them down. And now we're seeing data corruption in multiple client accounts. We don't know how to fix it. The consultants don't know how to fix it. The junior analysts don't know how to fix it. We need you. Where are the validation layers? I asked. What? The validation layers. The safeguards I built into the system to prevent exactly this kind of catastrophic error. Where are they? Silence. Ethan, where are the validation layers? The consultants said they were creating unnecessary overhead, he said quietly. They said the AI was mature enough to operate without them. They disabled them to improve performance. I closed my eyes. Of course they did. Of course the non-technical consultants who didn't understand the systems had disabled the safeguards that prevented disasters. Of course they'd prioritized performance over safety. Of course they'd ignored the architecture that I'd spent 7 years carefully designing. Sophia, please, Ethan said. I know I made a mistake. I know I should have listened to you. But right now, we have clients who've lost money, data that's corrupted, and systems that we can't trust. We need your help. Please. I thought about saying no. I thought about telling him that he'd made his bed and now he had to lie in it. I thought about letting Meridian collapse under the weight of his incompetence. But I also thought about the clients. The people who'd trusted Meridian with their money, their data, their financial futures. People who had nothing to do with Ethan's bad decisions, but would suffer the consequences anyway. I'll come in, I said. But I have conditions. Anything. First, I want a contract. Not an employment agreement. A consulting contract. 6 months, with an option to extend or convert to full-time employment at my discretion. Done. Second, I want triple my previous salary. $450,000 base, plus equity. I heard him inhale sharply. My previous salary had been $150,000, good, but not exceptional for someone with my credentials and experience. Triple that was $450,000, which was high even for a senior AI engineer in Boston. But I knew Meridian was desperate. And I knew I had leverage. Done, Ethan said. Third, I want full authority over the AI systems. No consultants, no non-technical executives making technical decisions. If I say something needs to be done, it gets done. No questions, no debates. Done. Fourth, I want everything documented. Every decision, every meeting, every technical recommendation. I want a paper trail showing exactly what happened, who made what decisions, and who ignored what warnings. Pause. Why? Ethan asked. Because if this happens again, I want it on record that I told you how to prevent it. I'm not taking the fall for someone else's incompetence. Fine. Done. Can you come in now? I looked at the clock. 9:47 a.m. I'll be there in an hour, I said. I arrived at Meridian's office at 11 a.m. The normally bustling office was in chaos. People were running between conference rooms. Phones were ringing constantly. I could hear raised voices from behind closed doors. Ethan met me in the lobby. He looked like he hadn't slept. His expensive suit was wrinkled. His hair was messy. His eyes were red. Thank you for coming, he said. Thank you so much. Show me the systems, I said. He led me to the main engineering floor. The junior analysts were clustered around monitors, looking panicked and confused. When they saw me, relief flooded their faces. Dr. Chen, one of them said. Thank God you're here. We don't know what's happening. The systems just started making crazy trades this morning, and we couldn't stop them, and now the data is all corrupted, and we don't know how to fix it. I sat down at a workstation and logged in. My credentials still worked. They hadn't deactivated my access yet. I pulled up the system dashboards. Red lights everywhere. Error messages cascading across the screens. The trading algorithms were offline. The data pipelines were throwing exceptions. The monitoring systems were screaming warnings that no one knew how to interpret. I pulled up the system logs and started scrolling through them. It took me about 3 minutes to identify the problem. The validation layers are disabled, I said. All of them. Every single safeguard I built into the system has been turned off. The consultants said they were creating overhead, Ethan said weakly. The consultants are idiots, I said flatly. Those validation layers were there for a reason. They prevented the AI from making high-risk decisions without human approval. They caught data quality issues before they corrupted the models. They detected anomalies before they became disasters. Without them, the AI is essentially operating blind. Can you fix it? Ethan asked. Yes, but it's going to take time. The validation layers need to be re-enabled and recalibrated. The corrupted data needs to be identified and cleaned. The models need to be retrained. The client accounts need to be audited and corrected. We're looking at days of work, maybe weeks. How much will it cost? I pulled up the client account data. The numbers made me wince. The direct trading losses are about $2.1 million. The data corruption affects 47 client accounts. Depending on how bad the corruption is, we might be looking at another $500,000 to $1 million in corrections and compensation. Plus the cost of my time and anyone else we need to bring in to help. Plus the reputational damage, which is harder to quantify but could cost you clients and revenue for months or years. Ethan's face went pale. This is going to destroy the company. It might, I said. But if we act fast, we might be able to contain the damage. First priority is stopping any ongoing errors. Second priority is identifying and correcting the corrupted data. Third priority is preventing this from ever happening again. What do you need? I need the consultants gone. I need full access to all systems. I need the authority to make whatever technical decisions are necessary. And I need you to stay out of my way and let me work. Done, Ethan said immediately. I spent the next 72 hours essentially living at the Meridian office. I re-enabled the validation layers. I recalibrated the safeguards. I audited the data pipelines and identified the corrupted records. I retrained the models using clean data. I wrote scripts to automatically detect and flag anomalies. I rebuilt the monitoring systems that the consultants had dismantled. I also called in reinforcements. Keisha, Marcus, and Jennifer were all between jobs. I offered them consulting contracts at premium rates to help with the recovery effort. They all said yes, partly for the money, partly because they wanted to help fix the systems they'd built, and partly because they wanted to see Ethan squirm. By Thursday afternoon, we had the systems stabilized. The trading algorithms were back online, operating under strict validation protocols. The data corruption had been identified and corrected. The client accounts had been audited and the affected clients had been notified and compensated. The total cost of Ethan's mistake, $2.8 million in direct losses and corrections, plus another $400,000 in consulting fees for me and the team I'd brought in to help. Plus immeasurable reputational damage. All because he'd fired the AI team to reduce overhead and leverage autonomous AI. On Friday afternoon, Ethan called me into his office. He looked exhausted, defeated. The board wants a full report on what happened, he said. They want to know how this could have been prevented. They want to know who's responsible. I can tell you exactly how it could have been prevented, I said. You could have listened to your AI engineers when they told you that the systems needed human oversight. You could have not fired the entire team that built and maintained the infrastructure. You could have not hired non-technical consultants to make technical decisions. You could have not disabled critical safeguards to improve performance metrics that didn't matter. I know, he said quietly. I know I screwed up. I thought I was optimizing operations. I thought I was positioning the company for growth. I thought the AI was mature enough to operate autonomously. The AI will never be mature enough to operate autonomously, I said. That's not how AI works. AI systems are tools. Powerful tools, but tools. They need human oversight, human judgment, human expertise. You can't just turn them on and walk away. I understand that now. Do you? Because I need to know that you actually understand what went wrong here. I need to know that you're not going to make the same mistake again the next time some consultant tells you that you can cut costs by eliminating unnecessary overhead. I understand, Ethan said. I promise. No more consultants making technical decisions. No more ignoring warnings from engineers. No more assuming that AI can replace human expertise. Good. Because I'm going to hold you to that. He nodded. Then he said, the board wants to know if you'll stay. Permanently. As Chief AI Officer. Full executive role, seat at the leadership table, authority over all AI and data science operations. I'd been expecting this. I'd been thinking about it for the past 3 days while I'd been fixing the mess Ethan had created. What's the compensation? I asked. $500,000 base salary. Equity package worth approximately $2 million over 4 years. Full benefits. Signing bonus of $100,000. And a guarantee that you'll have final say on all technical decisions related to AI systems. It was a generous offer. More than generous. It was the kind of offer that would set me up financially for years. It was the kind of role that would position me as a leader in the AI field. But I'd also spent the past week watching Ethan panic, watching him realize that he'd nearly destroyed the company through his own incompetence, watching him beg for help from the people he'd fired. And I'd documented all of it. I'll think about it, I said. I need to see the full contract terms. And I need to see the board's report on what happened. I want to make sure that the record is clear about who made what decisions and who ignored what warnings. Of course, Ethan said. I'll have everything sent to you by Monday. That weekend, I sat in my apartment and reviewed everything that had happened. The firing, the disaster, the desperate calls, the recovery effort, the job offer. I also reviewed the documentation I'd been keeping. Every email where Ethan had dismissed technical warnings. Every meeting where he'd prioritized consultant advice over engineer expertise. Every decision that had led to the $2.8 million disaster. I had a choice to make. I could take the Chief AI Officer role. I could rebuild the AI team, restore the systems, and position Meridian for long-term success. I could make a lot of money and establish myself as a leader in the field. Or I could walk away. I could take my documentation to the board and make sure they understood exactly what had happened and who was responsible. I could find a job at a company that actually valued technical expertise from the start, rather than learning to value it only after a disaster. On Monday morning, I called Ethan. I've reviewed the offer, I said. I have some additional conditions. Name them. First, I want a written guarantee that I have final authority over all AI-related technical decisions. No executive overrides, no consultant interventions, no board interference. If it's a technical decision about AI systems, I make the call. Done. Second, I want the full AI team rehired. Keisha, Marcus, Jennifer, and everyone else who was let go. Same roles, 20% raises, apology letters from you personally. Done. Third, I want the consultants from Vanguard Strategic Solutions banned from ever working with Meridian again. And I want it in writing that no future technical decisions will be made by non-technical consultants. Done. Fourth, I want a formal report submitted to the board documenting exactly what happened, who made what decisions, and what the consequences were. I want it on record that this disaster was caused by ignoring technical expertise and prioritizing cost-cutting over system safety. Pause. That report will make me look very bad, Ethan said. Yes, I said. It will. But it's the truth. And if you want me to stay and rebuild this company's AI infrastructure, I need to know that the truth matters more than protecting your ego. Long pause. Okay, he said finally. I'll submit the report. Full transparency. No spin, no excuses. Then I accept the offer, I said. I'll start next Monday as Chief AI Officer. I've been at Meridian for 8 months now in my new role. The AI team is fully rebuilt. Keisha is back as Senior Data Scientist. Marcus is back as Lead ML Engineer. Jennifer is back as AI Systems Architect. We've hired 6 additional engineers. We've rebuilt the validation layers, strengthened the safeguards, and implemented even more robust monitoring systems. We've also implemented new policies. All technical decisions about AI systems go through me. No consultants make technical recommendations without engineer review. No cost-cutting measures that affect system safety without full risk analysis. No executive overrides of technical expertise. Ethan submitted his report to the board. It was honest, unflinching, and deeply embarrassing for him. It documented every mistake he'd made, every warning he'd ignored, every decision that had led to the disaster. The board was not happy. Ethan is still CEO, but he's on a very short leash. One more major mistake and he's out. The company has recovered. We've regained the clients we lost. We've rebuilt our reputation. We've implemented new systems that are more robust, more reliable, and more carefully monitored than ever before. And I've kept my documentation. Every email, every meeting recording, every piece of evidence showing what happened and why. I keep it in a secure folder on my personal cloud storage. I don't think I'll ever need it. Ethan seems to have genuinely learned his lesson. But if I do need it, if he ever tries to blame me or the AI team for his mistakes, I have the receipts. I think about that week in October a lot. The week when Meridian nearly collapsed because a CEO with no technical background thought he could replace AI engineers with AI. The week when $2.8 million was lost because someone disabled safeguards they didn't understand. The week when I went from fired to Chief AI Officer because the company finally realized that you can't run AI systems without people who understand AI. People ask me if I'm angry about what happened. If I'm angry that I was fired, that my expertise was dismissed, that I had to watch the company nearly destroy itself before they realized they needed me. Honestly, I'm not angry. I'm vindicated. Because here's what I learned. Technical expertise matters. You can't replace engineers with consultants. You can't replace human judgment with automation. You can't cut costs by eliminating the people who actually understand how your systems work. And when companies try to do that, when they prioritize short-term cost savings over long-term system safety, when they listen to MBAs instead of PhDs, when they assume that AI is magic instead of a tool that requires expertise to use properly, they fail. Spectacularly. Expensively. Publicly. Ethan Whitmore learned that lesson the hard way. It cost him $2.8 million, his reputation, and his credibility with the board. But he learned it. And now Meridian is stronger because of it. We have better systems, better policies, better respect for technical expertise. We have an AI team that's empowered to make the right technical decisions without interference from non-technical executives. We have safeguards that prevent disasters instead of consultants who disable them to improve meaningless metrics. We have a company that understands that AI doesn't replace human expertise, it requires it. If you've ever been told that your expertise doesn't matter, if you've ever been dismissed by someone who doesn't understand what you do but thinks they know better, if you've ever watched a company make catastrophically bad decisions because they valued cost-cutting over competence, I hope this story gives you something. Maybe it's validation. Maybe it's hope. Maybe it's just the knowledge that eventually, reality catches up with incompetence. And if you found value in this story, please like and subscribe for more real stories about workplace politics, corporate dysfunction, and what happens when companies learn the hard way that expertise matters. I post news stories every week about the reality of corporate life, the good, the bad, and the expensive lessons that come from ignoring the people who actually know what they're doing. Remember, AI is a tool, not a replacement for human expertise. Systems need oversight, not just automation. And companies that forget that will pay the price in money, in reputation, and in the desperate phone calls they make to the people they fired when everything falls apart. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.